Welcome to level 1 of how to level up your fitness in 2025. If you haven't watched the intro yet, go watch that so you know what this is all about. And if you've watched that, then we're gonna get right into it because I value your time. Starting your fitness journey begins with your why. Starting anything begins with your why. Because just like in a game, when you know the main quest, then everything you do has purpose and intention. And it's gonna help you stay on track even when distractions and side quests pop up. So first, I wanna tell you about my why and how I use it. When I was young, in middle school and high school is when I started my fitness journey. But when I was young, I was not necessarily bullied, but I was made fun of a little bit and overall just not respected because I was just a scrawny little Asian kid with glasses, shorter than everybody. I just didn't look fit or scary in any sort of way. I got sick of it. So I was like, all right, I want some respect and I want to feel confident in my skin. And then honestly, I just wanted to look sexy, right? You get to some age and you're just like, I got to become sexy. I hit the age and that was my why. Since then, and even now, how I use my why is at a smaller scale. When I'm in the gym or when I'm doing my workout, when those last few reps get very hard, that's what's going on in my mind to push me through those last few reps. I have a girlfriend, her name is Jasmine. When I'm doing my ab crunches, let's say I'm trying to hit 30 reps. At 25, when I start struggling and I'm just like, oh, I already did 25, I gotta stop right now, right? To get those last 5, I tell myself in my head, if you stop now, Jasmine's gonna stop loving you and then she's gonna leave you, you're gonna die alone. That right there gives me the fire and the power to just push 5 more so that I don't end up dying alone. That's one way of how I use my why. In a less intense way, just any day where it's a little hard or days where I just feel like cheating and not being as disciplined as I like to be, I think about the bigger picture, why this is all is. Every action you take is kind of a vote on how you build the future you. When I think about it, today, do I want to cheat? Then I rethink about that, like, do I want to become an unfit person in the future? No, I want to be a fit person. So then that right there helps me make the decision that I'm about to make. I say that because you need to know why you need a why. Number one, like I said, in hard times, it's going to motivate you and it's going to kind of keep you going when those times get tough. Sometimes when you're in the thick of it and you're just kind of going through the motions and you think to yourself like, why am I even doing this in the first place? Boom, right there, you have your answer. This is exactly why, okay? When it's hard and when it's tough and when you don't feel like doing it and you're thinking like, why am I doing this? Well, this is why. And I can't tell you what your why is. You have to figure that out. That's going to help you on those days. Another reason is because just the process of thinking about why makes you kind of think and then put your emotion into it, which then gives this whole journey and this whole mission more emotion and more purpose. Anytime that you add emotion and purpose to something, it just solidifies and is much stronger in your mind and in your body. An example that I would have of that, not in my real life, I like watching animes. In Demon Slayer, Tanjiro, his whole why is to protect his sister and defeat the demons. This guy almost loses his whole life trying to do this when he's almost dying or when it just seems like nothing is going to work. His why, his resolve to do that is what fires him and fuels him to just pop one last time, no matter how terrifying it is. If you watch any sort of show or movie, the main character always has a strong emotional reason, okay? So now you have to have that kind of main character syndrome and think of your why. Why do you want this? You have to dig deep and figure out what's gonna emotionally power you through this. It's not just physical, it's more mental and emotional here is what we're getting into. Now we know how to use it. Now we know why we need it. How do we find the why? I'd say there's 3 steps. Number 1 is just a self-reflection. Asking yourself, why do you want this? There's a reason you clicked on this video. There's a reason you clicked on the intro and now you're at this video 2 videos in, right? There's something that's driving you to do this. So now you need to, shut everything out, think about it, reflect with yourself. Why do you want this? Why do you want to become fit in 2025? Think about what pains do you have in your life that makes you want to make this change? Because the more pain you feel, the more emotion we can put into this, and then the stronger your why is going to be. Another aspect of this self-reflection is look at where you're at. Visualize the future you that you want to become. Who do you see when you look out there? At some point when I was younger, I looked forward and at the time I was scrawny, but then I imagined somebody with big muscles, tall, handsome, sexy. Now that I'm here looking back at that, that's what we've created, okay? But it all started with Hui fucking 10 years ago thinking about that and then just working to do that. Think about what the ideal version of you looks like in your head. Make that mental image and then we're gonna move on to the next step, which is to make your identity change. And what I mean by that is, it's not that you just want to become that person, but you want to be able to do the things that that person does in order to be them, okay? Now that's a little confusing, but let me break it down like this. You can't just say, I want abs. Fucking everybody wants abs. You have to think of it like, I want to become disciplined, healthy, and capable. The person that you're envisioning he has abs. That means he eats right, he works out, he stays consistent, he is disciplined, he is all of these things. All of those character traits, that is what you want to adapt. You don't want to just become that person. You want to adapt the traits that that person has. But first you have to know who that person is. This is literally just like building your My Player in a game. You're trying to max out all the attributes. You're turning the sliders all the way up in order to create your ideal player. But in this case, you're creating the ideal version of you and then figuring out what that ideal version of you does in order to be that person. In part of finding your why, I would also throw in there looking for inspiration. What this looks like is basically finding a role model. Like literally find that person. If you can't visualize it yourself for you, find a person that is similar to that and that you want to work towards. My number one person was Odell Beckham Jr. When he started popping off, he had the cool hair, he was a handsome guy, big muscles, good arms, everything like that, and he had abs. And I like that he was slim, agile, athletic. He wasn't like a bodybuilder necessarily, he was just muscular and athletic looking. That's what I admired and that's what I wanted to become like. And then another person later on that I found that I also admired was Russell Westbrook. Both these guys are just athletic looking, not too big, slim and agile, and I really just admired that and I wanted to have that type of body, and that's what I work towards. Once you have that role model or that person that you want to become like, you have to analyze, see what they're doing, study their habits, study their mindset so that it can spark your drive and then determine how you should go about things. We just went through why you need the why and then how you find the why. Now that you have the why, the next step is to just lock that into your head, right? That mental image we talked about earlier, those character traits, the emotion, everything like that, lock it into your head. Better yet, put it down. Make it your mission. I don't know what that looks like. For some people, that looks like you literally write it down on a post-it note. You write it down in your journal, you write it down wherever, you create a vision board, you make it your screensaver, whatever you gotta do, put it down somewhere physical so that you can refer to it and look back on it. When you look on that thing, all the emotions and all the thoughts that we've just went through are gonna come back and it's gonna remind you, again, why you're doing this. And that is all, honestly, for level 1. I know when you think about a fitness journey, this is not the part that you think about. We haven't done a single push-up, we haven't gone on a single walk, but that's okay. We're mentally prepping you to make this thing more sustainable in the long run. This why right here is the foundation of your fitness journey. And I've explained to you why. It's gonna keep you on track, gonna push you through the hard times, and it's gonna remind you why you started in the first place. And this is just the beginning. Now that you have the mission and you know why you're doing this, it's time to actually map out and plan how you're gonna go about doing this. So in the next video, we're gonna dive into mapping out the journey, building your workout plan, building your nutrition plan, and building out your workout schedule. All of that is gonna help you take that first step with confidence. So let's get right to it then. I'll see you over there.